Hello, I'm Kelly and welcome to my Flosstube channel Animal Instinct. I'm back for my first cross-stitching update for 2021. It's Sunday the 17th of January. I'd like to just start by saying thank you to my regular watchers and subscribers. I've been doing this for just over a year now, I think, and it's been really fun to get to know many of you and share my love of stitching. So thank you. And I've also noticed there's quite a few new subscribers. It's that time of year when we go and look for new to us Flosstubers or new Flosstubers. So if you're new, hello. I hope you like what you see here and want to hang around. I thought it was probably a good opportunity to do a quick introduction because there are new subscribers. So if you've just found me, maybe through my whip parade or my last video, which was my finishes for last year. My name's Kelly. I live in Adelaide, South Australia, which is on the southern coast of Australia. It's a beautiful place to live. What else? I am a veterinarian by trade, although I no longer work in practice. I am a veterinary officer now, tasked with protecting Australia from exotic animal disease incursions, I guess you could say. I also study at uni. So I'm studying in the field of veterinary public health, and I feel like that's a little bit easier to explain now that everyone knows what public health is. So it's a study of, or it's looking after, I guess, populations rather than individuals. So in veterinary practice, I used to treat individual animals and improve their health. And in public health, you're looking at improving the health of larger populations, and same for veterinary public health. My particular field is in managing outbreaks of disease. So it's been quite interesting to follow along, like basically studying how to manage epidemics during an epidemic. But that should be done, I think I've got one subject to go, so I'm almost there. So that gives you an idea of where my handle came from. Well, firstly, my Flosstube channel, Animal Instinct. I'm on Instagram at animal stitches, animal_stitches. I've put hundreds of thousands, probably, of stitches or sutures into live animals over the years, but I also love cross-stitching them too. So a lot of my pieces will have animals in them, but there's no rules. I just stitch on what I want to stitch. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I did just want to say thank you for the kind words. My last video, my nephew helped me and he was a little bit nervous, but he had a really good time and he loved the feedback. So thank you very much. Right, before I get into my stitching, I just want to give a quick mention of this, and I'll go into more detail at the end. I just know that not everyone watches through to the end, so in case you miss it, I have a big birthday coming up. I just realized that my birthday's in less than a month and I'll be turning 40. So it's not quite the year I had planned, that's okay. I'm going to have a birthday stitch along. So I've never done anything like this before. I hope you'll join me in celebrating my 40th year. I'm going to use the hashtag only 40 once Sal. And from my birthday, which is on the 12th of February, I will be starting, I'll be having maybe a week of starts. I'm not sure. I'm just going to start things until I don't feel like starting them anymore. Maybe a week, maybe I won't last that long, maybe it'll be longer. So if you'd like to join in, please use that hashtag. And what I'd love if you had a new start with me to celebrate. If you don't want to start anything, that's fine too. Stitch on something with an animal in it. And if you don't have anything with an animal in it, but you just would like to wish me a happy birthday, feel free to just use the tag anyway. So that'll be on Instagram. I'll put the hashtag in the description box too. And I'll mention it in my next update, which should be before my birthday. So I will go through some of the things I'm planning on starting at the end of this video. But stitching, that's what we're here for. So I've had one finish since my last update. I finished my temperature tree by the Stitching Mummy, Sarah. You can get this on Etsy. It's on a brown linen and it's done. I thought about putting in the year on maybe the temperature scale that I used, but in the end I've decided just to leave it as is. The temperature scale is kind of self-explanatory and it's going to end up in my 2020 smalls quilt. The birds out there are really noisy today, sorry about that. Nothing I could do, they're wild birds. Loved stitching on this one. Even when I got behind, it wasn't sort of stressful to catch back up. I could get 2 or 3 weeks behind and it wasn't difficult. So I really enjoyed that. And that should be being incorporated into my smalls quilt of pieces that I stitched last year. I showed everything that I'm going to put in my last video if you're interested. And once I have any progress on that, I'll be sure to share. Okay, I've had some new starts. Quite a few new starts since my last update. Let's see, where do we start? Sunny Beach. I mentioned this at the end of my whip parade. I was really keen to start it and I was going to start it on the 31st of December, but I couldn't wait. So I started it, I think it was about the 28th. Put a picture in of what it looks like. It's by Anna Stitch. I bought the pattern on Etsy. And it's clearly a beach in Thailand, but it also reminds me of some other beaches that I spent time in on my travels right through Asia. It's being stitched on, it's not ironed, sorry. sorry. It's being stitched on 16 count Aida because there are blends in there, so I needed to be able to use 2 strands of floss. And I don't always love stitching with 2 strands on 18, but as you can see, in the sections that are complete, the coverage is perfect. So I'm really happy with my choice of fabric. I've just started off on those rocks on the top left. So looking forward to that one coming out again. I stitched on it for about 3 days, I think, but I haven't actually touched it this year. While I'm here, I will just mention I had a day where I just wanted to make project bags. I kind of ran out of bags to hold my projects in. So I actually made 8 over the course of a couple of days, which I don't recommend. That was hard work. I'm just an amateur sewer. But I have some fun fabrics. Next one is Lindy Stitch's Funky Menagerie Sow. Here, speaking of fun, here's another fun bag. Look at the hippos. Oh, I love them so much. So this pattern came out, the first installment, I think there's 4 parts, came out at like 11:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve, my time. And I've made a small-ish start on it. Turned out I was too tired on New Year's Eve and I kept having to frog and I wasn't actually enjoying it. Nothing on the pattern, it was just because I was tired and kept making mistakes. But I've come back to it and this is my start. Oh, come on. Out of practice. So this is a 32 count even weave, gifted from my friend Deb. And it's opalescent and I love how it's looking. Love it. So I still need, I think I've done about half, maybe not even, of this first section. And the next one comes out on the 1st of February, I believe. So I've got plenty of time to finish that. That one's good fun. Whoop, losing stuff. My next new start is the Cross Stitch Studios Wildlife Mystery Stitch Along. So all we know is that it's wildlife themed and it runs over 16 months, and I believe they release 1 page of this full coverage, mystery full coverage pattern every month. So the first drop, I think they did it at as the clock ticked over to the new year in New York time, whatever time zone that is. And for me, that was 3:30 p.m. on New Year's Day. And I was just having a quiet day at home, so that was perfect for me. This one's got a little bit of cat hair on it, but this is another bag. Hopefully some of you will recognize that creature from my all-time favorite childhood movie, The Labyrinth. It's the little worm. I'm stitching this one on 28 count easy count. Is that what it's called? I always forget. And I'm stitching it with 2 strands of floss over 1 tent stitch. And this is where I'm at. So I've still got a fair bit of just filling in down here and clearly in here. Kind of looks like scrambled eggs. I'm not sure what this is going to be. I think it could be a lion's mane, it could be a hedgehog, could be an owl, or it could be completely throwing us. It might not even be anything related to the animal. Don't know. I've been pretty surprised that I've been able to keep up. I think the reason why I have is that I've committed to spending at least half an hour each day in January on this. And it turns out when you start stitching, it's hard to stop. I'm still not completely sold on the tent stitch. I'm totally, like, it's fine. We'll complete this piece in it. I still think I prefer 1/1 full crosses. I think, and I've been thinking about it a lot, I think it kind of looks patchy. It's because it's heavily confetti. There's 80 colours in this first page. So there's a lot of having to end threads, and at the top I was a little bit concerned about the bulk at the back. So you can see down here, and I really don't like the mess, so I'm not sure if I can handle it, but I've started bringing threads down below the stitching to stitch over and then snip, like what do you call them, like waist threads or something. I'm just trying everything I can to make it as neat and yeah, tidy as possible. So very much open to suggestions. So kind of doing a combination of half crosses where the stitching on the back is just vertical lines, and continental where you get that thicker diagonal line on the back. But yes, definitely still learning, but I've done over 5,000 tent stitches, so very happy with that. And I'm very curious to see what it's going to be. My next new start is, so I finished the temperature tree, and I've started Temperature Typography by Sarah, Stitching Mummy on Etsy. She's got a whole range of different temperature themed patterns. This is being stitched on 25 count pewter Lugana. Made a small start. So it's much smaller stitches than the temperature tree. And I love the colours. Yeah, I love the colours. So I think I've got enough to finish the N and make a start on the U, I think. But this is another one where you don't have to do every day, like day by day by day. You can come back and do like a week at a time. But I'm really interested to see the colours emerge on that one. We have had some warmer days, so I think there's some oranges coming up. And then I guess this is a new start, sort of. This is a series I'm doing. The Joyous World series by the Snowflower Diaries, available for free on their blog. And I'm doing this with Deb Wilson, and we are trying to stitch each block in the month, in its own month. We've done September through. So this is my 5th one. There we go. So this one's on 18 count Ada, Vintage Country Mocha, and really love how those colours are popping on there. What I didn't, I clearly had not looked at the pattern before I started. These are all eyelets and they need to be filled in. These ones are, all the gaps are going to be eyelets in a different green. Oh my goodness. They take a lot of time. And on Ada, you have to be splitting the threads, so they're slow. And I couldn't get a decent hole in the middle just because, I think because it's Ada. But that's okay. I think they look good. It'll look fine when it's done. But man, that's a lot of work. So I think all I have to do on this one is clearly complete the fox, do those eyelets, and then in that darker green, there's a few little highlights on the plant there. And then January's done. Right. Okay, I still have a few more whips now. So they were all basically new starts. And this year, like many of us, I am participating in Jessie Marie's Wickgo. If you're interested, you can look up the group on Facebook, Wickgo 2021. And there's the bingo board. You put a project into each square on the board, and then she calls 2 numbers to try and, I guess, tick off the board each month. And for each of your projects, you set your own goal, whatever you want to achieve. So I've kind of set a slightly lofty goal, I think, of trying to get to work on each piece for 21 hours, as they're called. I'd love to get that done during the month they're called, but if it turns out I don't quite do that, that's fine too. The first one though, I have actually completed my Wickgo goal, so really happy. I got 21 hours on this one. Mugshot of a cat felon arrested while attempting a New York bank heist. Best name ever. Artwork by Tanya Bond, and it is a Gecko Rouge kit. So in the 21 hours, I stitched, I think it was just shy of 3,300 stitches. I've never timed and counted before. It was interesting, and I found the efficiency varied greatly depending on how tired I was. This is where we are. So hopefully put a picture in of where I was before. Really, really happy with this progress. So I've filled in all of this background, like the board behind him to indicate his height. And I've done a little bit more on him as well. So I'm now, I think I'm 32, 31.9, something like that, % done on this whole piece. So it's just a small one, but I'm really happy. So it's stitched on 25 count Lugana, the one with the 20 by 20 grids, and it's 1/1 full crosses. And so as well as Wickgo, I'm also using this for full coverage fanatics. I'm slowly adapting to being able to participate in challenges without feeling overwhelmed, because my main priority is just to enjoy the stitching, and then if I can manage it, try and join in on the challenges, and it's gotten easier. So this one, excuse me, I was able to complete the first book in their bookshelf challenge, which is Pride and Prejudice. I think they got the version on Goodreads, has it as 188 pages, and they just put a 0 on the end. And to meet that challenge, you have to stitch 1,880 stitches on a project. So did that one easily for this one. And actually, I have just about finished the next one with that mystery stitch along. I think, is that right? Yeah, The Great Gatsby. I think you need about 2,500 stitches, just over 2,500 stitches for that one. I'm doing 10 stitch, so I need just over 5,000 and I'm just about there. So this one is now going away because I've met my goal and I've got lots of other things I need to work on. I'm a little bit sad about that because he's lots of fun to stitch. My second piece that was called for Wickgo. Here's another bag. You can see repeats of fabric, but platypus. It's the Old Scott, so it's my Hands Across the Sea sampler, the Old Scott. I'll put a photo in of where I was last year, but I wanted to, my goal for this year is to complete the Thistle border. But my Wickgo goal is 21 hours. I'm really happy with where I got to. Oops, this is a big one, so hopefully I can show it all. Ah, cool. So I have just about completed the green part of the thistle border. So filling in the thistles themselves isn't going to take long. I think I've done 12 hours on this one, so I've still got a way to go. Let me just roll it up to show you something. You know that whole thing of will the borders meet up? Will the borders meet up? And you get a bit worried, well, my border didn't meet up. But it's all okay. So I came down here, I turned the corner and I got to here, and this is where I thought if it's wrong, I can probably fudge it a little bit, and it was wrong. So I fudged it and it looks fine. The original is kind of weird like that anyway. You can't tell that there's a difference. But when I looked at it, I thought I'll go and find out where I made the mistake, because, you know, it potentially could have just been left. And you can see these are all the same line. This one was 1 stitch too high. And when I looked at it, this was correct. All of these were down 1 stitch too low. And I thought, oh, I don't want to have to undo all of this. So I had a close look and I can make some adjustments in here and bring this one just down 1 stitch. You won't know, the whole piece will be 1 stitch lower than it should be. It'll be absolutely fine. So, oops, but it's all okay. So I have one more whip to share. Oh, that's on 40 count. Oh, I didn't have it here. It's either platinum or cream linen. And I'm stitching it with the Soy Dauge silks. My last whip is Firefly by Jenny Parks. It's a Gecko Rouge kit. It's my big one, 1065 by 700 stitches. Stitching it on 25 count Lugana 1/1 full crosses, although I've decided to do the background 2/1 10 stitch. I've moved him down. He's just peeking out there. Hello. And I'm working on his coat. So my strategy with this, so firstly, when I finished the top of his head, there was about 120 stitches deep of ninja stitches left at the end. And I just, oh, it was hard work. It was tough, slow going, hard work. So I'm trying to avoid that here. I'm not very good at parking. I can't do the parking block by block or diagonal. If I see a stitch that needs to be stitched and I've got the needle threaded, I just want to stitch it. That's just me. And that's fine, like each to their own. But to save my sanity, what I'm doing is I'm working in 20, so the squares are 20 by 20, so I'm working in 20 deep rows just across his jacket. So I'm just finishing this row here at the moment, and I'm just filling in all the stitches in the row, and then I guess I'm parking it ready to go in the next one down. Sometimes I'll stitch down into the next bit. It just kind of depends how many stitches are left. Like if there's say 5 stitches left, I'll just stitch them and end the thread. But there's a lot of, like this coat is enormous and there's lots of similar colours in it. So I've just got them ready to go. So once I've finished, I've just got this little bit to go. Once I've finished that, I'll come back up and start using up these and working my way through this row. Who knows if I'll stick with that, but at the moment that's working well for me. This one is out for a few reasons. Let's see. Full Coverage Fanatics, 21,000 stitches in 2021. I want to do on this piece, so I've just started that. I've only put in 400 so far, that's all right. It's also good for some bingo prompts in the Full Coverage Fanatics bingo. It's not on my Wickgo board because I want it out all the time and I want to just continue chipping away at it. So that's my last whip. I've got some haul, and actually I've just shown you some of my haul. So let's go into haul. It's just rained a little bit. I assume you can hear all of those. They will be rainbow lorikeets. Very noisy. I've been talking to Taryn from Teaser Handmaids on Facebook about this, oh, I don't have the box here. This kit, there's so much fabric, there's so much floss. I like to keep it in a 17 by 11 inch Q-snap. I need to do a better job of folding it up. And I just was finding it a little bit hard because there was just so much to it. So I talked to her and I sent her some fabric, and she's made me some beautiful items, and now I can keep it all in one place. So firstly, she's made this large deep grime guard with this fabric that I sent her, and you'll see it better in just a sec. I just need to tidy that up. But it fits the project really well. To hold the project, hopefully I can show it all. She has made me this large tote bag. It's beautifully made. So that's the moth fabric. It's really beautifully made. And then she's lined it with this lovely colour. And it's actually big enough, I won't put it back in right this second, but it's big enough for my piece to slot in, just like that. So that's great. Not hanging out, I can close it. It can be, when I'm not working on it, it can be dust free, cat hair free, protected, and I can keep all the bits together in one place. So as well as the tote bag, which we just did a press stud closure, so it's really easy to get into. She's also made me this large Oceans bag. It's quite large. Again, that's fabric that I sent. It's a Tula pink fabric. And she's put the zip on and matched it with lining fabric. So she's found a pink that matches the outside. And so when you get the Gecko Rouge kits, you get them on cardboard thread cards that are really good quality. But this is a project that's going to last me for many, many years, and I was concerned that they might tear, you know, after pulling threads off them for 10, 15 years. So quite a while ago, a few years ago, I think, I bought a heap of these plastic ones, cheap off, I can't even remember where I bought them from, online somewhere. And I've put the symbols on on the front. I do need to come up with a better solution though, because I'm pretty sure the sticky tape I used to stick them down won't be acid free, so I think it'll eat away eventually, so I need to fix that. But there's so many, there's seven of these cards. So there's a lot of floss, and then also there's all this extra that wouldn't fit on the initial thread cards. So all of that fits in here nicely. And as I found last night when I used it for the first time, I can just have this sitting next to me on the couch. I can zip it up and it actually sits nicely, kind of like that, next to me, and I can just sit my scissors on there. And the really, really good thing about that is I have a very naughty kitten, Reggie, and he can't be trusted with anything. He's shut away in my bedroom at the moment. And so it's safe. He's not going to hurt himself by getting into it and eating the floss, and my floss will be protected from Reggie. So the large Notions bag and the large, the 17 by 11 inch Q-snap both fit into my bag. There's also, where did I put it? She also made me a matching Needleminder. Thank you so much, Taryn. I've put it on a project, but I'm not sure which one, so it'll appear. I highly recommend her, so she can work with you to make something sort of customized to what you want. She's really, really great. So that's my Firefly project, and as you can see, it's all nice and safe in the bag. I got the Silks for You 12 Days of Christmas Advent box package. I'm not quite sure what it was called, which was great. It was really fun to have something to open in December. Oh, by the way, here's another one of my bags that I made. These are really, I don't know, they're functional. Let's just leave it at that. If you want decent project bags, get one from Taryn. Actually, I forgot part of her order, my order from her. She made me a project bag, which is very beautifully made. I sent her this fabric that I thought was really pretty, and it fits an 11 by 11, I'm pretty sure. Is it 11 by 11? Q-snap in there, I'm pretty sure that's right. And I asked her to make me a matching grime guard that would be 8 by 11, fit an 8 by 11 Q-snap. That's my preferred size, so I forgot that. But yeah, this high quality, this not high quality, but you know, functional. Okay, so Silks for You 12 Days of Advent. I'm not going to show you everything. So it was great. I really liked it, and I think I'll do it again next year. We got some skeins of silk. We got some patterns, Needleminder, some finishing stuff. So some dyed silk ribbon. Probably forgetting something. But I do want to show this. This is a needle holder, so it's in a little glass jar. It's got a functional Needleminder on top, so you can use that. And then there's a magnet in the lid, so pop your needles in, tap them so that they're all in contact with the lid. And then when you want to pick one, let's see if this works. You can open it and they're all stuck there. You can easily select your needle, and then if you want to close it, whoops, off camera, there we go, done. Really neat, and it's a nice small footprint to keep your needles safely. So that's really great. And then I just wanted to show you the larger skein, the larger, I guess, volumes of silk that we received. My pretties. So we have a quarter skein of this red and gold variegated silk. And then matching that, we have a half, no, did I say skein? I meant quarter hank. We have a half hank of this beautiful red. And then we have a whole hank. Haven't done the greatest job of, anyway, this is just holding it together. That's not silk, but this sort of Christmassy green. So really, really pretty colors of silk. So definitely need to have a think about what I will use those on. Okay, that's all of my haul and stitching and everything. So let's have a little chat about my birthday next month. So it only occurred to me a few days ago that I'm turning 40 in less than a month. If last year was a normal year, I would have been preparing to have a fun trip away, overseas, something adventurous. But I didn't even think about that last year, and now we're here and I couldn't do that anyway, and that's okay, you know, it is what it is. So instead of that, I was thinking, what can I do? I don't really want to have a big party. I would have preferred to have gone away and had a fun experience instead. And so that was kind of on my mind a little bit. And then the night before I started work again last week, I ended up buying Carolyn Manning's sea glass pattern. I've been admiring it for a long time, and all of her collection. It was hard to choose, but I kept coming back to sea glass. I've seen lots of people working on it. It's very pretty and I love the colors. And then the very first day back at work, I found out that a colleague had passed away over the break from ovarian cancer. It was extremely upsetting because I knew her, I knew she was unwell with it. I'd only spoken to her late last year. I have survived ovarian cancer and I'm considered cured, so not in remission, but completely cured. So it really, really hit home to me. That sea glass pattern is in teals, and teal is the awareness colour for ovarian cancer. So when I purchased it, I didn't know that she had passed away. But now I would like to start that and think about her while I'm stitching it, and also be reminded of how fortunate I am to still be here. So then I'm thinking, like, she died far too young and life is too short to, I don't know, have all this stash and not stitch it. So I'm thinking, I want to enjoy myself. Why don't I just start everything? So I don't know if this is a midlife crisis. I'm not sure. But that is how I got to the point of, I'm going to start some things for my birthday. So I would love, if you're interested in joining me, I will mainly have it on Instagram, I guess. I've never done anything like this before, so I hope people are interested and get involved. If you don't have Instagram, but you'd like to be part of it, I'm going to put my email address in the description box below, and feel free to send me emails, and you can send me pictures of what you are working on. So only 40 once Sal is the hashtag, and it's very cruisy. I don't really care. I just love for you to be involved anyway, in any way. But in particular, if you have a new start that you're planning, I would love for you to join me in celebrating my birthday with a new start. Alternatively, if you're not wanting to start anything, then maybe stitch on something with an animal and tag me or use the hashtag. That would be fantastic. And then if you don't have anything with animals, just use the hashtag anyway. I'd love for everyone to be involved. So please join me. I'm going to show, I'll put pictures in of some of the things that I'm thinking about starting. I'm also putting no pressure on myself. So if I decide I've had enough of starting stuff, I'll just stop. I'll just keep going until I don't want to do it anymore. So no pressure, do what you love, enjoy what you do. That's basically the whole theme. So my birthday is on the 12th, so I'll be starting on the 12th, but feel free to use that hashtag anytime in the month of February. So as I mentioned, I'm going to start Sea Glass by Caroline Manning. I'm also going to start Cheshire Cat by Mandarinks Designs from Etsy. I'm going to start Mother of the Ocean by The Primitive Hare. Beauty Spot by Long Dog Sampler. Now, I've been admiring this one for a long time. I've seen several people stitching this on Flosstube. Amy loves toads. Jemima, the rocking stitcher. I know Jessie Marie does stuff, is also stitching this. This is the Ellen Maurer Stroh Patterns Flower of the Month. I don't have a mock-up of all 12, but you can find them free. I just googled her name, Ellen Maurer Stroh, and I think she has a blog with them on there, and they're all there. So I'm going to start that. Finally, I've been thinking about it for months. Why not? Because we're starting everything. Higes, I don't know how to say it. I need to practice that. Higes Stories by New Leaf Craft on Etsy. I saw Garrett, Coffee Stitcher, has recently stitched the first one, I think. And they're these small little detailed patterns. There's 12 of them. There's one for each month, and they're beautiful. So I definitely will be starting those. Now that I've got a full coverage piece that I would like to start. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. There's two. So they're both from Tilton Crafts, and I'm going to blame Alma from Alma's Little Wonders on this one. She's stitching a few pieces, Tilton Craft pieces that are artwork by Daniel Kordek. And I went and had a look on the website, and I saw two, and they just both really appealed to me. So I have both. I'll probably just start one. I'm leaning towards the first one, which is Life on Mars, a tribute to David Bowie. Alternatively, I have the Labyrinth themed Sarah and Jareth. So if you're not familiar with the movie Labyrinth, David Bowie plays Jareth, and he's the star, as well as having put together the soundtrack as well, which I have on CD. So I love that one. So I'm not sure which of those two I'll start, and there might be more. I don't know. I might be regretting this later. I don't feel too stressed out by having lots of whips. I do like finishing them, but I like the process of stitching them too, and watching them come together. So only live once, and you only turn 40 once, so why not start everything? With that, I think I'm done. I hope you're all doing well. It's been an interesting start to the year, so hang in there, keep stitching, and we'll see you again soon. See ya.